just booed me!
My timbers have been shivered. So this is JoJo Siwa. She used to do some dancing when she was a kid and got shouted at a bit and cried. But now she's being all different for some sort of rebrand and it's kind of cringe. Well, not kind of cringe, very cringe. To be honest, I could stop the video there. You are now informed. But I'm going to share with you some clips that further back up my point. Starting off with menopausal Mabel.
Did you all hear the one about JoJo Siwa stopping her New York City show to yell at a fan who dared to boo her?
Now, obviously, you have seen it. I started the video off with it. But JoJo does go further with her aggressive crowd control stance. Instead of just taking it on the chin and going about her day, she decides to try and hunt down the phantom booer.
Where the f did that come from? Which one of you? Which one of you? Respectfully? F you.
Wow, that was some kind of ego.
Alright, Mabel. You're not wrong, but someone check up on this lady. But yeah, JoJo, this ain't it. But weirdly to me though, it does kind of seem like the dancers were prepared for it. Now, I'm not saying it was planned, but it was planned. But I don't actually know what JoJo Siwa thinks she's gonna do in this situation. You can't just offer out a full crowd of people for a scrap. I know you were a bad girl and you did some bad things. It may all be for fun, but you can't tell me this meant nothing. But after JoJo Sigma decided to try and fight 150,000 people, she did whatever this is. We've all been there when we want to get the last bit of sauce out of the bottle, but it just won't come out. But although it does look quite odd, I guess it's better than scrapping your own fans. But apparently this outfit is supposed to be a teddy bear. Like, obviously she has the bears on her head and her... yeah. But it's like me putting a Lego Death Star on my head and saying I'm a Death Star. Breaking news, I'm not a planet destroyer. But to cut the crap, that is the worst thing I've ever seen, and I've been to Luton. But JoJo Siwa lore, apparently this is for a music video or something, I don't know. But speaking of things you don't care about, she's upset a lot of people with this merch range that she's doing. It's essentially a high-vis jacket with a spanner on it. But before I even get to the point here, if you're buying a JoJo Siwa high-vis jacket, don't even bother getting the hard hat to go with it because you're protecting nothing. But essentially there's this band called Tool. They literally did this exact design in 1991. Now, I'm not going to go out and say she literally copied them because it's a spanner. You know, she wasn't even alive back then. But based on some of the things I'm going to talk about in this video, maybe I wouldn't rule it out. But either way, it's just a cock and balls, but with hand tools. I personally wouldn't be annoyed at getting a graphic of a spanner made to look like a cock with a word on it. But each to their own and everything. Everyone has their own morals. Maybe that will explain this clip of JoJo Siwa on stage in LA. Yeah, I don't think any description is needed from me here. She did start touching herself on stage. A kid show star performing to an audience who are presumably young. And even if the people in attendance were adults, she knows what she's doing. It's a bit of rage bait because she knew everyone would get outraged with it and then they'd share it. If a guy got on stage in front of loads of people and started fiddling with his chopper, it would be over for him. I did see an interesting comment of someone trying to defend this. You all forget she's an adult and she can do what she wants. She's not for the children anymore. Acknowledging that she was for the children and then defending herself having a little fiddle on stage. Bit weird that. Of course your name is MJ. It's unlike anyone with that initial having dodgy morals when it comes to kids. But enough of the fishy business, I've got another cringe JoJo Siwa clip for you.
I opened my TikTok and people ask me the same question. They say, what the f are you? And they say a lot of to me. They say you should act your age. Started doing that and they still hate me.
That's because they said act your age, not like a knobhead. You're 21 years old and it appears you've just discovered swearing, apparently. Because she's literally swearing at any given opportunity. There's no reason for it. I think at this point we can see that she just lives to be hated and is kind of sad. But I've seen a lot of people say that she actually went on this rant because she doesn't have enough music to fill the slot she was allocated. I have no idea if that's true or not, but it's hilarious if so.
They say, write your own songs.
Yeah, normally people would make a follow-up argument or a response. But nah, not JoJo. She just moved on. She literally went, people say I don't write my songs. Lovely weather, isn't it? But the funniest thing about all of this is some poor person is having to recite all of this through sign language. I'm sure reciting a JoJo Siwa rant was not in this person's job description. And by their face, I'm guessing they're losing the will to live too. A bit like me having to sit through all these JoJo Siwa clips, so please leave a like out of pity. I'll feel so much better. But when she eventually enters the room, she tells people to hold the drama.
Hey, you know what I said about f***ers? I tell them to hold the mother drama.
But it's not really drama though, is it? People just say you don't write your songs. If you don't like it, maybe get some receipts or formulate an actual argument. Because all she does is go, people say all these mean things about me. I've not seen one moment where she goes, actually I do write my songs. Instead, she just calls it stupid.
I just steal other people's songs. Stupid fucking theory. Anyways.
Is it just a theory though, JoJo? I mean, regardless of that, this whole thing is weird. From the fact that she's avoiding a definitive response to Matey Boy skiing in the background, it's very clear that this car crash of a rebrand is not going according to plan. But the thing about stealing songs went viral after a comparison was made to Emmeline's song.
JoJo Siwa blatantly stole this TikToker's song from 2022 for her new album. So here's a clip from the original.
Some of my exes are ugly. Some of my exes are vain.
And then here's the clip of JoJo Siwa stealing the song and then claiming she wrote it about one of her exes.
Because it is about one of my exes.
Some of my exes are ugly. Some of my exes are vain.
I can definitely see where the inspiration has come from, and I think it may be fairly obvious that JoJo Siwa has people around her who are too scared to say no, or they just enjoy leading her into controversy. My bet is on the latter, and the more controversy surrounding her music means the more people check it out, and we all know that means more money for everyone involved. But speaking of controversy and poor guidance, let me direct your attention to this clip of her on stage.
For like 14 years of my life, I performed in front of 6-year-olds. And they were way fucking louder than this.
She said the crowd was shit, so they cheered. I feel like this is one of the biggest differences between America and Britain. Over here, she would have a cup of piss thrown at her and she'd run off stage crying. Obviously, I'm not wishing for JoJo Siwa to get covered in piss, and this is getting quite weird, so I'm going to move on. But whilst we're on the topic of liquids on stage, notice how much liquid is in this bottle. It's full, right? I remember my first drink, but to be fair, I don't think JoJo will, because, well, she hasn't. The bottle's lost 0 liquid, it's still full. And this is a bit of a running theme, too. More spilt out of the bottle than went in her mouth. Either way, that is not a normal reaction, especially for someone who claims to be a bad girl doing bad things. And I know I mentioned earlier, but what the fuck is this outfit? Honestly, it makes me want to go to Build-A-Bear Workshop and protest.
When I drank the alcohol on stage, they brought out a jug of Tito's, and people were like, whoa, what are you doing?
No, they weren't. I can assure you, no one was saying, whoa, oh my god. People were saying JoJo didn't drink the drink, and calling it a jug of Tito's. That tells me all I need to know. JoJo is so desperate to be seen as a rebellious kid, and she probably thinks alcohol is that golden ticket. But never in my life have I called a bottle of vodka a jug. I have, in fact, called a jug of water a jug. Easy mistake to make, I guess, especially when you most likely swap the liquids to make yourself look really cool and badly behaved. This paired with a constant use of swear words in like every other sentence. The puzzle pieces are there for us all to see, and the jigsaw is just the cringe rebrand. But as if it couldn't get any worse, she drops the new choreography. Not even AI could recreate this, but this comment summed it up for me. This is JoJo trying to fight off the whole commentary YouTube scene, telling her the truth about her rebrand. It's bad. But lastly, anytime you search JoJo Siwa into the TikTok search page, this video just hangs around like it won't flush.
Dream guest on my podcast?
This sounds like every kid's cartoon voiceover ever, but the haha funny ends quickly.
Honestly, let's spice things up. One of my exes.
Oh?
The look away for approval was not missed. And yes, JoJo, your dweem guest sure has spiced things up. But according to the comments, she's only got 2 exes anyway. So just ask Siri to pick a number between 1 or 2, I guess. That's probably a more informed decision than the rest you've made during this rebrand era. And I could dive into the podcast appearance that she made recently, but I think we've all seen enough by now. She kind of just sits there in a building site fit and acts like she doesn't know that she's done a rebrand.
I have a brand?
Yeah, so crazy. But yes, I think that's enough JoJo Siwa for me today. Leave a like and subscribe or your teddy's gonna start walking around drinking booze and giving you a headache.